you've got to look at failure as the mile markers, as the milestones, as the designators that, hey, man, you're on the right path. Don't look at failure as the thing to deter you or to tell you're going the wrong way. What is going on, my beautiful people? Welcome to, another episode of the Pivot Mindset Podcast. My name is Justin. I am your host, and it is so good to be hanging out with y'all. Let's jump right into this topic. Let's jump right into this episode. In this episode, I want to talk about the journey of getting out of a rut. That's right. Like I want to peel back. I want to talk about the journey of getting out of a rut. Man, if you're just listening to this podcast for the very first time, we believe that life is all about the pivots, and those who decide to make the pivots decide to become successful. That success is a deliberate decision that we make each and every day, but it's based on our mindset, right? It's how we attack the mind that allows us to accomplish the kind of life and do really what God has called us to do. The Bible talks about, as a man thinketh, so is he. And so our mind, if we don't deal with the mind, you could find that you are trying to change strategy, you're trying to change people, you're trying to change environments, and none of it's working. So we got to address the mind, right? So, and then of course, if you haven't already done so, please give this podcast a rating and review, whether you listen to it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or watching this on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube community. Shout out to YouTube gang out there that's watching this virtual or watching the video form of this. We keeping the videos going and popping and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about this really quick. So I want to talk about the journey of getting out of a rut. The journey of getting out of a rut, man. I think that if we're not careful, we can find ourselves in ruts that we're not even aware of. I think that life goes so fast and our routines become so monotonous that you could find that you're in this season of rut, meaning like you're in this season where it's hard for you to get ahead. It's hard for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. It seems like you're taking 3 steps forward and then 5 steps back. Right when you feel like something is going to click, it doesn't. Right when you feel like the relationship is going to click, it doesn't. Right when you feel like this is your time, this is your season, it doesn't pan out the way that you desired or the way that you thought it would. Man, and you could find yourself in a rut, right? You could find yourself overwhelmed, stressed, confused, frustrated, upset, hurt, all that kind of stuff from being in a rut. And I believe that ruts, man, I think ruts are seasonality of life. And I think only reason why somebody is in a rut is because they don't understand the season that they're in, right? And so if you know the season that you're in, you'll know how to operate in that season, right? We have winter, spring, fall, and summer, right? There are 4 seasons in a calendar year. If you live in a purity normal climate, you wouldn't go swimming in the winter, right? Like you would not do sunbathing outside in the winter. Like you would not wear shorts and a t-shirt in the winter. You would dress differently. You would go to different places. Some people change the tires on their cars to be prepared for the terrain for whatever climate they're in, right? You may travel or vacation to different places, all that kind of stuff. And so what you find is that we don't necessarily get frustrated when winter is wintering, right? Because it's winter, or when summer is summering. When the thing is placed in its container, it doesn't necessarily frustrate you. What's frustrating is when it's supposed to be summer and it's 20 degrees outside, right? Or it's supposed to be fall and, we got snow, right? Like that's the frustrating part, is when you're not doing, you don't have what you expect to have or have expected to have in that season. So I think the ruts that we get, the kind of the positions that we that we find ourselves into are just a byproduct, one, of just not knowing the seasons that we're in, right? Like not knowing, hey, is this my summer season? Is this my fall season? Is this my winter season? Is this my spring season? And what does that mean for my life? And where am I going in this season, right? And knowing, okay, this is what's most important in this season, because the truth is not every season will you grow, like financially. Not every season will you grow numerically in friendships. Not every season will you have these breakthrough aha moments. Some seasons you'll just be like, a win is just you keeping up with all the demands that's on your life. Some seasons the demand, the win is just you keeping your child alive, right? Or you keeping your marriage on fire, right? Or some seasons are just to maintain, right? You're not necessarily trying to grow in this season. You're just trying to maintain, find the value, be thankful for each day, right? So it's important to understand seasonality as we talk about getting out of a rut and what that means. I think this topic is also important because in the social media comparison day and age and the generation of man always being able to compare my life against somebody else's, see somebody else doing something, and then me feeling like I got to do that thing, or me sabotaging the thing that I'm doing because I see somebody else doing something that appears to be better. I think that day that we're in that age. And so I think the temptation to create a season that is not yours is so high. I'm gonna repeat that again. I think that the temptation for you to create a season or to put yourself in a season that isn't actually yours is so high. Somebody might be in their winning season. Like somebody may be in a season of abundance, of blessing, of favor, of harvest, right? They may be in a season of getting all the things that they've been waiting on for the last 5, 7, 10 years. And maybe you've just come out of that season. And so now you're comparing, right, your chill season to somebody's killing it, crushing it season. And what I want to encourage you in is, man, is everybody has their day. Everybody has their day. The rain falls on the just and the unjust. Problems fall on the just and the unjust. Life happens to the just and the unjust. Life happens to the people that are smart. Life happens to the people that are not so smart, right? Life happens to people that are wealthy. Life happens to people that are not wealthy. And so, you know what I'm saying? So you have this this thing that is just, if you're not careful, if you're not mindful, again, you could be sabotaging the very season that God has you in. All right. But let's dive into this, man. So I got 3 things that I want to be able to share with you in this episode about getting out of the rut, right? Getting out of that frustration, get out of that annoyance, getting out of that point where you feel like, man, am I going to be stuck here forever? Maybe this is the life that I'm going to live. I'm not going to be able to accomplish what I have vision for, what God has shown me. And so the first thing that I think if you're in a rut right now, I think what you got to do is have the mindset that this is what hard actually feels like. Like you have to have the mindset that says, man, this is what hard actually feels like, right? You almost have to be able to give yourself a level of grace and a level of forgiveness that you are going through a hard season. This is what hard feels like. And so if you give yourself that permission to feel the hard, it will also give you the clarity and I think the conviction to stay in it longer, right? If you give yourself the permission to say, man, this is actually what a hard life feels like. This is what a hard season feels like. This is what building a hard business feels like. This is what trying to navigate hard relationships feel like. This is what hard feels like. And so I don't have to label it something when it's not. I can label it accurately and give myself almost a level of freedom that, man, this is just what hard feels like. And so if you're in that rut, know that rut isn't for you to mislabel it and inappropriately call it something that it's not. Nope, it's hard. Being in a rut, yep, you're in a hard season right now. This is probably and could be one of your hardest seasons that you'll ever go through. But guess what? This is what hard feels like. And so if you ever forget, you'll be able to go back to this very moment to know this is what hard feels like. And the truth is, everything hard eventually gets easy, and everything easy eventually gets hard. So if you live a life only making easy decisions, that will become a very hard life for you. But if you live a life where you just commit yourself to making hard decisions and going through the hard things, I promise that the things that you're processing through will be worth it one day, that it'll all be worth it in the end. All right. And so you got to have that mindset that this is what hard feels like. Here's the second thing. The second point that I want to give to you is that you got to put the life that you desire into a system that forces you to rise to the occasion. All right. Like your patterns and your routines and your day-to-day is the number one factor that I believe is shaping the life that you'll have in the future. And so if you don't like the path that you're on, if you don't like the trajectory that you're on, you have to look at your habits, you have to look at your routines, you have to look at your patterns. Those will tell you exactly the kind of person that you will be. And so if you put the life that you actually want into a system that forces you to rise to the occasion. And so let me give you some practical, like what does that actually look like? Putting your life into a system that forces you to rise to the occasion could mean that you find a partner to go to the gym with. instead of working out by yourself. And you tell them that you're going to meet them at the gym Monday through Friday or whatever days you decide at a certain time. And if you're struggling with consistency, you probably, or at least you should, have a hard time letting that person down than letting yourself down, right? It's we could talk about that for another episode. It shouldn't be easy to let yourself down, but for most people, it's harder to let somebody else down than themselves, right? That's a system. Putting a system in place, or investing in a trainer, right? Having a trainer that's waiting for you to be at the gym at a certain time every single day or whenever you set to work out, so that there is a system that kicks itself into place, right? Man, I just put a system in place, and it always forces me to rise to the occasion. I've been needing to shoot some content with a videographer, and I've been thinking through like the content ideas and all that kind of stuff and what I want to shoot, but I haven't had it dialed in. And so what most people's mind would say is, man, let me think of what I want to shoot this content about first, and then book the videographer and all that kind of stuff, right? And I was like, nope, because I'm struggling here, and let me just book the videographer, and then I put it on the calendar, and then I force myself to rise to the occasion, right? I force myself to have to create the video scripts and create what I want to talk about and all that kind of stuff, right? You put yourself and you put the life that you want into a system that forces you to rise to the occasion, right? It could be anything, man. It could be your finances, right? It's like, okay, let me actually put myself out there. Maybe you want to save some money, or maybe you want to get out of debt, or whatever it is, right? What system can you put in place that forces you to rise to the occasion? Maybe you hire a financial planner. Maybe you hire a financial coach. Maybe you hire somebody that will hold you accountable. Though you don't have the finances you want, you put a system in place that forces you to rise to that level, to that kind of occasion, all right? And so that's number 2, man. If you're in a rut, I think you're in a rut because of your habits, your routines, and your patterns. And so you have to begin to put something in place to disrupt those habits, those routines, and those patterns. And I think a really good strategy, a really good way, is to force yourself to rise to the occasion. And then here's the last one. The last one is embracing the lessons of failure, okay? Embracing the lessons of failure. I think that there are so many people out there who struggle with the fear of failure. The mere fear of failure happening is paralyzing and gripping to a lot of people. And so if you're always so paralyzed by the feeling of fear or by failing by itself, then you won't ever take action. So what you have to be able to do, and what I found serves me well, is that I have to take the sting out of failure. You got to take the sting out of failure, meaning you have to stop making failure such a bad thing. You've got to stop making failure such a travesty if you fail. You got to stop making failure such a big problem if you experience something that doesn't go your way. The minute that you take the sting and the power out of fear, the more confident you can be able to live. And I believe the more action, the more empowered you'll be to actually move ahead and move and go. Because here's the thing. If you are always afraid of the failure piece, right? What also happens is you don't get the lessons that come from failure. You try to go around them. You try to skip them, not knowing that those lessons are important. Those lessons are vital for your success. And so if you never put yourselves out there, if you never fail, if you never try something and it doesn't work, then you won't ever know what to fix so that you can try something again and that it potentially will work, right? If you knew that there was a level and there was a certain number of failures that you would have to go through to actually accomplish something, what would probably happen is you would probably try to go through the failure. So if I told you that the life that you wanted was on the other side of the 5th failure, or the spouse that you wanted was after the 4th blown boyfriend relationship, or the job that you desire is after you've been fired from 3 other ones, you would go through the failures, quote unquote. You would go through the hard stuff with a lot more grace, not thinking that your life is going to be over, but you would look at it as these are milestones necessary to be able to accomplish the life that I desire. And that really all failure is. Failure is just the milestones. Let me repeat that again. Failure is just the milestones for you to be able to accomplish the life that you desire. And so you've got to look at failure as the mile markers, as the milestones, as the designators that, hey man, you're on the right path. Don't look at failure as the thing to deter you or to tell you're going the wrong way. Look at failure as saying, man, I failed in this. That does not mean I have to stop. That means I actually can keep going because I'm learning the lessons, because I'm taking the information, because I'm evaluating myself, because I'm finding the critique, and I'm finding the feedback, and I'm being able to implement it in my life, in my system, in my career, whatever it is that you're desiring, right? Failure has to be freed from the sting. You got to remove the sting of failure if you want to really get out of the rut, okay? And so, man, just a couple things that I have for you, man. I just encourage you, man, no matter where you are in life, if you're in a rut, just know that this is what heart feels like. And, truly, I'm praying for you, man. Like, I'm praying that this season, that rut that you're in, that you would embrace the season, embrace the moment, that you would know that it's not going to last always, and that it has a end date coming to it. Just like it has a start date, your rut has an end date. And you can either allow life to prolong the end date, or you can make a decision to speed the end date up. And by speeding the end date up, I think is one, getting really clear on purpose and what God has for you, making sure you have the right mindset, implementing the right systems, the rituals, the routines to really get you and force you to rise to the occasion, and taking the sting out of failure. All right. And so, man, that's all I have for you in this episode, man. I want to drop a really quick announcement to you. Check this out. Yo, are you a Christian entrepreneur looking for a supportive community to help you grow your business? Then I think you should check out Entrepreneur Build. It's lit over here. No, for real. At Entrepreneur Build, we believe that entrepreneurship is a calling, and we're dedicated to empowering Christian entrepreneurs to fulfill that call. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to take your business to the next level, we offer one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and access to a community of like-minded individuals who are passionate about making a difference in the world. The best part is that Entrepreneur Build is a community built on Christian values. Our coaches are experienced entrepreneurs who knows what it takes to build a successful business. And we're committed to helping you build a business that reflects your values, make a positive impact on the world, and get to the bag. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level and join a community of Christian entrepreneurs, we want to help you make a difference. Head over to pivotbiz.com/build to learn more and join our community. That is www.pivotbizz.com/build to learn more and join our community today. I'll see you on the inside. All right, y'all. We believe here that life is all about the pivots, and those who decide to make the pivots decide to become successful. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.